So, welcome to Queen of the Ratchet interview podcast, whatever. This is just a really chill interview. Y'all know, like, I come on here and I just kind of shoot the shit and talk. I am
Is it an interview or a conversation?
It's a collective gathering of the mind.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
I am with the legendary King Shy.
King Shia.
King Shia. Shay
AKA
West.
the Shay West.
He is a director, actor, and just an all-around
Singer,
spiritual
photographer,
everything.
Choreographer.
Sagittarius. That's a Sagittarius in you.
The ruler of dreams, yes.
Yes.
That's
the
what it
rebellious sign that thinks that they know everything.
She's shady right now.
No, so we were talking about shade and pettiness. I went through this phase of my existence this year where I was like, okay, I want to get to these different dimensions. I want to get to this, like, to closer to what I think God is. And I mean, if you're an atheist and you don't believe in God, more power to you. But I wanted to get there for myself. And I was like, am I wrong to be putting out ratchet content and petty content and doing all this stuff that uplifts me, but other people may think it comes from a negative place? And I guess I've just come to the conclusion that I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do it because it makes me happy. It's not because I'm trying to be detrimental to anybody else or, like, destroy anybody else's reality, but there's strength to me in pettiness and shade. What are your thoughts on that?
I believe that you can go both ways, but I think at the end of the day, a happy you is a happy being, is a happy flow, is a happy growth. It's a happy, moment for us all to experience when we are in your presence and when we hear your artwork and when we are a witness to your artistic vision. So if you're not happy while doing it, you might make us sad.
Exactly. And it's like my mother is very religious, and I grew up in a Christian home. My dad is not religious at all. He don't go to church or anything like that. But when I have conversations with my mom about religion, I try to respect everybody's religion on how they see the world. And so what I went through earlier this year was I wanted to understand everything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to try to go to a church like this. I'm going to stop eating meat. I'm going to stop doing this. I'm going to try to become a breatharian. I was doing all this stuff because I thought it was going to make me...
And they're breatharians.
What did you say?
Breatharians.
Oh, it's not breatharian?
No, it's breatharian.
Oh, I am so sorry. If you are a breatharian, which is a person that eats their air, I am so sorry if I offended you. But listen, I tried that shit. I can't do it. I was hungry.
Yeah.
I did try fasting. I did try juicing, and I lost so much weight, like to the point where it was unhealthy.
Yeah, me too.
For me, and I wasn't happy, and so I saw this TikTok, and it was like, I'm an eatitarian. I was like, that's what I am. Like, if I feel the urge to eat something, I'm gonna eat it. And I think you said something. What did you say profoundly about, like, eating?
Well, when we were speaking earlier, I think it's when you go towards anything with the wrong mental attitude towards it. So if you think negative thoughts about it, then it will negatively affect you. But if you understand that you're a co-creator and an infinite being of your universe and that you are the energizer, you are the power source. So when you pick up that hot dog and you think it's going to bless me, then it will. If you pick up that hot dog and think it's going to add 2 pounds to me, then it also will do that.
So here's the thing. Scientifically, they say hot dogs are bad.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they've said. Or, like, cigarettes are bad, or alcohol, you shouldn't do it, and everything. But there are plenty of people, and this is the thing, there's plenty of people that live long, healthy lives that do all of this stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there are people living in the slums of Nigeria that can live up to 90 years old, and they're eating literally slum some waste and sewage. Some people are digging through trash. So if they can survive and if they can have the type of mentality where this food is going to enrich them no matter what it is, no matter where it is, you can too. However, we are privileged and we are blessed in this world. So, well, some of us. So we have to know that when you live and dive into certain judgments of food, you also are judging. So when you live in that judgment mode, you've exited the world that lacks duality, which is the fifth dimension, where you can literally manifest whatever, whenever, however you want. You dive down back into it. So by judging your food, you judge yourself, you judge the world, and you enter that zone again, 3D. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah. So to those of y'all that don't know, like a person that doesn't understand what we're talking about. So, okay, for me, like the idea of being woke, because I didn't know what woke was until it got really popular on social media and everybody was like, I'm woke now, I'm woke now. And then this year I started to really listen to music differently. I started to like look at food differently. Can you explain the idea of what it is to what is duality?
Duality is just if you've ever seen the yin and the yang symbol, that's the white and the black. Duality is living in that world versus observing that world and understanding that it just exists. It just is. And at any time you can choose whichever one, but they all are part of a balance. They all, the blind guy that has never seen light doesn't know what darkness is. So when you rise above duality, you rise above this idea or notion that there is negativity and there is positivity and they fight each other. They just all work together. And I, as a co-creator of my reality, can determine in those moments what I am going to see, what I am going to experience. And sometimes people choose their hell. Some people choose their negativity over their bliss. So right now it's choose your happy, choose your fun, choose your bliss, because at the end of the day, what is the point of living if you are not living for your ultimate good, if you're not living for your ultimate happiness? If the world shuts off tomorrow, were you smiling today? Did you hug someone? Did you go outside and look at the trees and listen to the birds sing? Did you take a breath in a moment? Were you happy the whole day? Did you go take that walk you always wanted? Did you buy that plane ticket that you needed to? If you didn't, if you aren't, then you should. You should be happy, because a happy you is the best you can give to the world.
So, okay, so great. I'm not going to play devil's advocate because I believe all that now. But I'm going to step to someone that's like probably listening to the podcast, right?
Okay, yes.
Someone that's like, well, bitch, you say all that, but I got a bill that's due next month of where I need to live. And it's, my rent is $1,500 and I have $1,600 in my account. So you're telling me if I want to go to Vegas, but at the end of the day, I still have to have a place to live. So that person in that mindset that's like, okay, I got to pay this first before I do that. Mm-hmm. And they stay stuck. Because that's been me. That's been me for a while.
Then your $1,500 gets used that way versus going to Vegas and winning $5,000 on that one machine that you just happen to play because you go there and now you're a millionaire.
So you're saying that instead of paying the rent,
be happy.
That person.
I would rather you, let me say it over. I would say, if you're going to pay your rent, pay it happily. Don't pay it with regret.
Ooh, I love that.
If you want to go to Vegas and be late. It's okay to be late sometimes.
That's what I was explaining. You know what? And I was explaining this to my mom.
Yeah.
When it came to bills and it came to money.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say this to you guys. Money is just energy. And it's hard for us. It was hard for me for a while to see it. Like, the idea that it's solid. Like, it's never going to come back to you. Money always comes back to you. I don't care if you're the homeless person living on the street asking for money every day. It always comes back to you. But if you say to yourself, oh, I can't do this, I can't afford this, I can't do it, then it's never going to happen. You know, I've been putting off starting an LLC because I'm like, I don't know. It's in my head, and I'm like, it's not that expensive, bitch. But there's the duality that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. That's like, Ooh.
But wouldn't you be happier if you had just did it 4 months ago?
You know how long it took me to start a podcast? It took me almost a year to
This
start
is my first podcast, and I've been talking about podcasting for 2
Yeah,
years. Got a whole machine.
Yeah, you know. Well, I also feel like it's for us to be an entity together because two minds are better than one.
Of course.
And like I feel like the idea of us like
Changing the
doing
world.
something like this.
Changing the world, people.
Changing the world.
Yes.
I honestly feel like this is the dream world. Like,
You
I
know
feel
what's
like
so
this is
interesting? Guys, it's interesting because the conversations between me and Josh earlier, before we pulled up these mics, we are arguing, not getting up. But when we're on these mics, it's like it just flows seamlessly.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I actually really love it. It's dope.
Yeah. I think it's okay. You know, like that was the other thing that I was going through this year is like the idea of like not having conflict at all.
Yeah.
Like being like also like there was a point where I went through like I was like, fuck the white man, fuck all these people and all this kind of stuff. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to say anything to piss anybody off.
No.
And then it's like, well, why the fuck do you care? And if they are robots, if they are not real, then bitch, you might as well say what you want to say. But what I do love,
I think we're all robots.
I do too. I do. But it used to depress me. I was like,
Yeah.
really? But you know, I saw this TikTok the other night, right? And
Yeah.
it was basically like, the girl was saying like, you know, like with death, people feel like they have to die to get to the other dimensions. And all that
Yes.
kind
No.
of stuff.
It's
You
a new
don't.
day and age.
You can like make an avatar
Yes.
in this reality
Yes.
and stay, and then
Who told you about that?
after you make the avatar in this
Yes.
reality,
Yes.
then you go on and you create
Other
everything
realities. Yes.
and your reality that you want, your family, all that.
Yes.
But then it kind of like upset me because I was like, well, then what's the real reality? And I said that once to my therapist, and she was like, there is none. And she kind of
That makes
smiled,
a lot of sense.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Because you want it to be solid because you're used to the 3-dimensional.
But then who's real?
Whatever you want, and that's the beauty of it. That's how powerful and infinite you are. It's whatever you want. And they try and make you believe in this
But
hallucination that we're all just agreeing to, and that's what neuroscientists say. They say that everybody is just hallucinating, and we're just hallucinating together, and we're deciding, oh, that's green together. That must be green, but green could look like red to me. But because we all pointed to it and said green, we're like, oh, okay, that's green. And that's what makes you cool at the end of the day, thinking that's green versus being the guy like, hey, guys, that's actually red. Then they throw you in mental hospital.
Okay, Shay. Okay, great. So this is the thing, though. When we're praying to God,
Yeah.
we're actually praying to, if we are the robots, right? And everything has already happened,
Yeah.
then are we the avatars, and that the person that we're praying to is a higher version of us that's playing the game for us? So like when we're like, oh, we
I think
want
it's
this.
all. I think at least when I pray to God, I pray seeing that God is everything. You get me? So I don't place any limits on it. Because if I limit it, and if I'm saying that it just stops with him being the avatar, and then maybe there's somebody controlling him, and then maybe somebody controlling him, then maybe someone controlling him.
Yeah.
So I just pray to God, you know, infinite intelligence.
I also think that my friend Kenya said this, and I was talking to her. I was like, I think that you can really just drive yourself crazy.
You can.
Trying to fucking figure everything out.
Yeah.
Because once you try to figure everything out, then you're literally there's a Black Mirror episode where like it feels like the technology is like turned on the human.
Yeah.
Like his account shut down.
Yeah.
Everything starts going wrong. The technology starts coming after him.
Yes.
And so you can literally drive yourself crazy trying to figure out the way that the world works and operates. Then I started to understand, I was like, when you really start thinking that this is the way the world operates and you start preaching your narrative, you become the religion that everybody hates. You become that religion because
you've just created your reality. You realize
created
that, though.
your reality.
You've just become a figure that has just co-created a reality.
You know,
and now that people see you do that, they want to worship you because they haven't figured out or woken up to the fact that they also can do the exact same.
There's nothing wrong with that to me, though.
There's not.
You know that you can create your own religion? Like, you
I was
can
thinking
go on
about
the IRS,
Yeah.
create a religion, get an EIN number. I'm finna put y'all on some game. Get an EIN number, and basically pay yourself through the religion that you created. I actually am. I think I'm gonna call my religion
Yeah, I think I'm
Queen
going
of the
to, too.
Ratchet, and I'm gonna make a Bible and everything.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's
that'd be
basically
fun.
what Kanye West was doing. Because at first I didn't get it. I was like, "What is the
When you
what the
really understand
fuck?
what he's doing, he's
I'm like, what the
he's very smart.
Yes, very, very
Yeah.
smart. I also have conversations with one of my family members. I think it kind of upsets them, and I was like, they were talking about like reptilians, and we got in a conversation of Madonna and all that. And I was like, you know what? Reptilians kind of fascinate me, in a sense. They do, because they're part of everything. Is infinite. Like, everything is a part of it. Everything exists as a balance.
Mm-hmm.
So they're part of the reality too.
So I don't know much about reptilians. All I know is that every human being has a reptilian part of their brain that takes control, and the ego lives through. So the fight or flight, the worry, the disbelief, the lack of abundance, that all comes from that reptilian brain that has been there for millions of years, because the first human that they found was 1,000,000 years old, Lucy, in Africa. So don't believe the 100,000 years. We've been here a long time. So there's a part of your brain that had to survive and had to worry all the time. But now, in this reality, you don't have to.
Is that the first dimension of like worrying?
I think that was just the beginning.
Yeah.
You know. But I watched this documentary that said somehow our ancestors are mushrooms. So that's what they're researching now. So that makes me think a lot.
Mm-hmm. So like, even like when we think of the term of like, you know, like homophobia or racism, like where we are and how everything is moved and how sensitive people are about love and loving on each other. Do you think we're moving to a society where we don't necessarily have to worry about, as black gay people, as black LGBTQ people, stepping in a room and feeling like we're going to get a whole bunch of hate thrown our way?
Oh, I definitely think that the world has shifted to a healing, helping, growing, loving society where everyone is included. If anything, a lot of times the people who are the most marginalized, according to our media and society, literally are the innovators and the waymakers, and they're always the ones truly shifting the conversation and the dynamic. So if you even take the right to vote, because black people got the right to vote, it made everyone get the right to vote. It wasn't just only white people and black people. Now everyone can vote. So a lot of times it's these most marginalized communities, when they are able to truly have their voices heard and they shift the conversation, they just help the whole united, corridor of us. We all succeed when marginalized people succeed. We all do. And when people realize that, they'll realize it.
And what I told someone the other day is, I think that black people, there's a resiliency, even like when I think about people like me and you and like my family and like some of the people that collectively we know together, there's a resiliency that we have, that we can literally bounce back from anything.
Yes.
Like we could go through like a really hard time and we like, okay, we finna figure this out.
And we always do in history. At least if we stay in the black and white world, in history we've always bounced back.
Humans in general.
Always. Humans in general, but yeah, humans in general. However, and we've bounced back, and we always bounce back, and there's never a time we have not bounced back. So I'm always usually confused when people are like, oh, wow, Black Panther made so much money. That's surprising. I'm like, we've always done well in movies.
It's the same thing with
our main stars, the top of the music. I don't see what they see.
It's the same thing when I think about like this whole like and I don't know if it's playing into the Matrix or what really is going on, but like, if we're going to talk about the whole Will Smith debacle that everybody's talking about, I honestly believe that he will have his career back really soon. If not, by about 2 months from now, we're not even going to be talking about how we're talking about this now. It just feels like it's a big distraction. Like, I used to be so into celebrity gossip and celebrity tea and following the shade room, and like, I don't do that anymore. I really don't care. But even when I think about someone like a black and brown person like Will Smith or some of these other people that have struggled, it's a part of the hero story.
Will Smith struggled?
Yes, he struggled to get to where he was. Well, his storyline, his
I just
his
thought
character,
he was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like at
well,
16.
What is it, like the Sim? His Sim character that they created, his storyline. Like, if you read his book, he talks about his journey and
Really?
his trauma that he went through, like growing up with a mother that was abused and not standing up. So it's like when people say stuff in the media, which I think the media can be very detrimental, social media in the news. But if you read his book, he talks about not feeling like he stood up for his mother when it came to a black man abusing her. And so when you go back and you look at the Oscars and what he did there, that's that fight or flight mode. That's that reptilian brain coming out of feeling like, okay, I didn't get to do it back then. Let me do it right now. Let me stand up for my wife and do it. And
can I add something to that?
absolutely, go ahead.
And I would like to add that literally, we're almost done, guys. So let me just say this last sentence, and then Josh, you can close us out. But Will Smith did a show on Discovery Channel where he literally each episode conquered one of his fears. So he really wanted to get to this place where he did not fear anything anymore. And I guess that's what you get from Will Smith at this point. It's like, I ain't scared.
Yeah, he's living his truth.
Yes.
And it's like,
you get tired.
You get tired of trying to like please everybody. So it's and I think also, like, when we think about unconditional love, it doesn't mean like Disney, like, and I think I want to close it out with this. My definition of love is not like Disney Channel-esque love, they live happily ever after. Unconditional love to me is the idea if somebody cusses me out or cuts me off in traffic or does something harmful, it's not me being like, fuck you, bitch, I'm cutting you off. It's like, okay, let's have a conversation. Let's get an understanding of each other's narrative and everything, because people make mistakes. We're humans, and people should be able to live their truth. Shay, what is your definition of love?
Unconditional love is the best love. Compassion and self-love truly reside in how you see the world. So I honestly just believe, like, treat others how you treat yourself. Chris Rock literally turned the cheek. So that was a beautiful moment to see, at least someone stand. And then I'm even still following that story because I'm going to see if we can still unite in under unconditional love, because that would be amazing if they come out with a movie together. But that's the future, hoping to show that we can be united after tragedy,
Well, I listened to this podcast called The Read, which is an amazing podcast. This is what y'all got to understand is that these celebrities live in a different world than us. And sometimes they cater to certain things to put more money in their pockets. So if this was like an illusion, right, and I'm a black man and this other person's a black man, let's create, and I think you said that, let's create this success, but like create this storyline and have everybody involved so we both benefit and create more black wealth for other people, for our family members and everything, and let's get to another dimension and grow and be successful.
And then they created a different enemy too, because at first it was Will Smith, and then when the Oscar got taken away from him, all of a sudden now it became a race thing. So I think there's a little more smarts there.
Who got the Oscar now since it got taken away?
I don't know. I gotta research.
Give him the Oscar,
right?
Like, whatever.
He earned it. Maybe he can't show up to the Oscars for 2 years or something, be on probation, and maybe the next movie can't be nominated. But he earned that Oscar.
I don't even watch the Oscars. I find them boring as fuck. I'd rather watch a fucking movie, or I would rather watch the BET Awards with Monique hosting. At least I know that there's going to be dancing, singing, and comedy.
Well, I will say I do love, seeing great moments, get highlighted. So some of my movies to watch list definitely come from the Oscars, and I do learn a lot from those films. But I can understand, and I think that's the Oscars was trying to remedy that this year.
Yeah,
the separation, they came hard.
So here's the thing.
Beyonce opened.
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson, even Will Smith winning, Chris Rock hosting. They literally was trying out for us.
I think it's great, but the thing is like, it's like they give us a little bit, and then it's like, if we just let us be black.
That's why we have to own
black.
our own things.
Yes.
That's why, but I don't want to live in that world of separation. However,
I think everybody should be themselves.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be. I don't understand why. I guess I don't understand also is that you can have a reality TV show world where they are literally making maybe more than what these film actors are on TV. And then you have, this other world where they put limits on how black you can get. Not saying that what Will Smith did to Chris Rock was black, but I just feel like, maybe it could have been handled by us for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get me?
I get you, because I feel like I get it. Like, I love living in this, like, positive, like, happy environment, but I do believe that there's a sense of that you can be toxic positive. And when you push positivity on people, where honestly I think there's also a sense of positivity in being negative and embracing that everything doesn't have to come from this happy, joy place. Because
knowing
that's
that
the
maybe
balance that we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about. The duality is understanding the balance. Is like, not everything's going to be perfect. Just because he was a Fresh Prince and he was like this positive entity, it doesn't mean that he's godlike. And I would say this.
Shade.
Huh?
Nothing.
I'm not throwing shade. Well, maybe I am. But who's to say that God isn't shady?
I mean, he did create the trees, but I'm bush.
Well,
he's the ultimate shade.
Yes. I have to get out of here because I have to go to Tai Chi class. Shay West, thank you so much.
Yes, this is the Shay West, a.k.a. King Shia. Make sure y'all go listen to my tracks that are coming out in a month, and the music. And
where
probably
can they follow you at?
Yeah, you'll hear me with the Ratchet Crew.
Where can they follow you at?
Oh, follow me at the Shay West. That's TheShaywest. And then also follow me at I am King Shia. I am King Shia. Those two accounts are me.
Thank you guys so much for joining, and Shay, thank you. He will definitely be back a lot more.
This was fun.
And make sure you're following everything that's Queen of the Ratchet. The cartoon series is going good. I'm not going to give you any more details than that. But yeah, bye guys. Mwah.
Au revoir.